24 October 2023. This news flash, I'm going to talk about America, Europe, Russia, and the hotspot. But let's start with this one. Now, this one should really make you puke, or laugh, or go bonkers. Listen to this shit from the New York Times. Dozens of parking lots have opened across the US for working people who earn too little to afford rent, but too much to receive government assistance, and have turned their cars into a form of affordable housing. That's how they live. Stupid vatniks just don't realize that this is something to be envious of. Note that these are working people. But Biden wants to build, and I cannot use that word, arrangement. Bitch can't fix the asphalt in Manhattan, and yet there he goes. Bum order with a bigger punk. Can you believe that? Americans have now been blessed with parking areas where they can live in their cars. This is the country that can pump billions into war machines and wars to kill and maim and destroy across the globe, but they can't look after their own people. What the fuck is wrong with the American people? Can they not see what is being done to them? And then for those that follow my channel, you would know. I started talking about it last year already, that the EU is a reincarnation of the USSR, and I called it the USSR. And there was a lot of people that gave me some shit comments about it, but I'm just laughing. And think about that. Those countries joined the EU initially just for trade purposes and tourism purposes, make travel between the countries easier. But then they allowed that EC in Brussels. Now just remember, those EC members are not elected officials. Ursula von der Crazy, nobody voted for her to be what she is. The EC is actually the EU Politburo. And we saw it with the pestilence, and we're seeing it now every day. They just issue fucking instructions, and the rest of the EU must follow it. Whether you voted for it or not is immaterial. But listen to what Orban says. Hungarian Prime Minister Orban called the modern EU an unsuccessful parody of the USSR. Yes, it happens that history repeats itself. Fortunately, that was a tragedy the first time around, is at best a comedy the second time around. Moscow was a tragedy. Brussels was just a poorly executed modern parody. We had to dance the way Moscow played the tune. If Brussels is playing the tune, we dance as we want, and if we don't want, we don't dance, Orban said. Let that sink in. And here is something else. More good news for the American citizens. Russia's foreign debt to GDP ratio fell below 15% for the first time in history, reaching $343.4 billion at the end of June this year. Bank of Russia has published data on external debt per capita based on the results of the second quarter. The figure decreased by 4% to $2.3 thousand. This is the lowest level since 2006 when it was $2.2 thousand. As shown in the following infographic, the external debt per capita in the US is over 73,000 rand. Look at that. And for those that are interested, this data comes from the Bank of Russia and US Department of Treasury. And it was published by Sputnik. Look at this. External debt per capita, Russia and US, second quarter 2023. American citizens, each of them owes $73,822. Russian citizens, each of them owes $2,352. Well, if that doesn't make you think, I don't know what will. And then we have this one. And I have to be careful with what I read and what I say. But I'll leave it up so you can read the whole thing properly. 704 Gazans have been killed by Israeli airstrikes in the past 24 hours. Gaza's health ministry reports. The death toll from the Israeli bombardment of Gaza Strip has risen to 5,791, including 2,360 children and 1,292 women, according to the spokesman for the Gaza Health Ministry. Now that fiasco there, fiasco is actually not the right word, tragedy. What I am curious about, America has got laws that state if they supply weapons to a government, and that government use those weapons against civilians, America must stop supplying weapons. That's a law. That's an American law. What's happening here? No, they fucking send more weapons to kill more civilians. The Americans, I personally believe that the damage that Biden administration in the shithouse has managed to roll out onto America, we will see the fallout from it in years to come, because America has lost all its credibility. They're now there in the Mediterranean Sea with that fleet of theirs posturing, but they better posture properly and carefully, because if things go wrong, those ships will all go to the bottom of the sea, and all that will be left is bubbles. Please give me a like and a subscribe and share the thing. And I want to thank the people that is supporting the channel financially. I really appreciate it. You guys know who you are. And as I've said previously, if you want me to name, send me a message to skidmarks@ppol.co.za. The address is in the description of the video. And there is details of how you can support the channel in the description of the video. Thank you. Have a great evening.